Okay, our next topic is the algae as a pollution indicator. As you know, in the UPSC mains, we have the topic called as the plant indicators. Now, in this particular category, we have to cover each and every category of the plants. For example, we have to cover algae, then bryophytes, pteridophytes, gymnosperms, and angiosperms. Okay, because all of these are plants, some way or in another way, they act as a indicator species. And in the past previous year lecture, previous year's question papers, we have understood that the UPSC can actually twist such a kind of question, and that is why we should understand this topic thoroughly so that we will not lose any marks in the UPSC mains examination. Okay. Now consider this is your syllabus. We are dealing with the paper number 2 and the chapter number 5, that is ecology and the plant geography. And we are here at the plant indicators. Okay. Why we are doing this? Because of such a question. See, this was asked in ICS 2019 that here you have to mention at least two plants which can act as a plant indicators, and you have to explain their role in the soil quality evaluation. So such a kind of tough questions or the twisted questions can be asked by the UPSC examination. So you should not understand this particular topic, that is plant indicators, superficially. You should go deep into it and you should understand each and every aspect of this particular topic, or in any otherwise there are larger chances that you will lose such a kind of marks. Okay, so let us consider the first slide. See, the algal communities are very sensitive to their changes in their habitat. Okay, so small changes in their habitat literally means the organism where lives, it's called as habitat. Okay, so where the algal communities are living in such a habitat, if there is a small change, small environmental change, or something which makes that area polluted and which will not remain favorable for the algal growth, then in such a condition the algae will not grow there, or it will grow in a very high quantity. Okay, such a kind of situation can be created if there is a change in their immediate environment. So you can say the algae are quite sensitive in their habitat. Okay, smaller changes can cause them a drastic change, and that is why they are typically act as a indicator species. And thus the total biomass of each of algae and many algae species are used as indicator of the water quality. Especially when we talk about the water pollution can be easily recognized by using the algae as an indicator species, because the small amount of pollution can change the flora or the community which is there relating with the algae. For example, the particular A area has a specific kind of a community relating with the algae. If the small changes occurs in this particular water or in their immediate environment, then this particular habitat will get changed into the B form, and where you will find the either very less algae or the very complex algae which can grow in the polluted water. So directly or indirectly, we can use the algal communities as an indicator for the water pollution. Okay, now for in that regard, let's consider the first example of the phytoplankton. Okay, so phytoplankton can be the indicative species whether there is a pollution or not. Now see, when the reservoirs or the lakes become eutrophied, okay, you know we have detailed lecture on this particular eutrophication topic, and in that topic we have understood when the large quantities of the agricultural waste or say nutrients were get incorporated into the lakes or the rivers, then in such a high quantity of the nutrient favors certain kinds of the bacteria, for example the cyanobacteria, and they grow in a tremendous manner, and in this way they cover whole of the reservoirs or the lakes. Okay, and due to this the other phytoplanktons will easily left out from that area. So when the reservoirs and the lakes become eutrophied, the diversity of phytoplankton species gradually declines. Okay, and which leads eventually to the cyanobacteria dominating and producing the toxins into that particular area. So what happens once the lake or the reservoir starts to pollute itself, the natural flora which belongs to the phytoplankton, it will gradually decline. Okay, over a period of time, and certainly you will notice that there is a large presence of the cyanobacteria. So reduction in the amount of the phytoplanktons and increase in the number of the cyanobacteria will directly give you the clue that the whole area is polluted or it has already gone under the eutrophication. So the very first example you can put forward as an algae as a pollution indicator is the presence or absence or the reduced number of the phytoplanktons and the large number of the cyanobacteria in the eutrophied lakes. Okay, so in this way phytoplanktons can be used as a pollution indicators. Now let us take the second example, that is the desmids. You know, desmids is the another part of the organism which belongs to the algae itself. Okay, now these desmids are usually the indicator of relatively unpolluted water. So for example, if you find desmid present in the in a one particular area, and this particular area is showing the presence of a large number of the decimates. So you can easily say that this particular lake or the reservoir has the clean water, because decimates are grow there where there is a relatively unpopulated water present. Okay, now there is also the low calcium and the low amount of magnesium is there, because all of these are the conditions which are required by the decimates to get propagated into that particular area. So if the water is nearly clean and it has the low amount of calcium or the low amount of the magnesium, all of these three conditions are actually very favorable for the decimate growth and development. So in such a condition, if you find the presence of the decimate into this particular area, such a area can be considered as a clean and low in calcium and low in magnesium. Now, it is normally a large number of species are present in such a waters without a single species comprising most of the population. So, indirectly, what we want to say here is that the diversity will be very high. Okay, there will not be any single species dominance, but the many species which belongs to the decimates are thriving into that particular area, and hence they are successfully surviving in that particular area where there is a clean water, low amount of calcium, and low amount of magnesium. And in such a when such a condition is there, the diversity of the decimates can be found. Yeah, and if the generally what happens if the pollution occurs, generally single or the one or two species are dominating will dominate that particular area. But when there is no pollution, the diversity of the decimates can be found. Okay, so in this way, decimates can also be used as a pollution indicators. Okay, now consider the third example of the diatoms. Okay, diatoms, we have understood this topic in very detail, because during the diatoms we have understood each and every topic relating to this particular heading, right? Now here understood that, see, the diatoms are usually do not grow in water below the pH 5.8 5.8 to 6. That is the acidic pH, which is in the range of 5.8 to 6.0, is considered as ideal for the growth of the diatoms. Now, if the acidic level goes down below this average level, then in such a condition, diatoms will not grow in such area. Okay, nowadays, there is a famous term regarding the changes in the environment is called as the acidification. Okay, it is called acidification. Acidification is nothing but the acidification of the oceanic water due to the presence of acid rains. Okay, if the acid rains are there, in such a case, there is a typical losing of the or if there is a acid rains, this will really reduce the acidic nature of the oceanic water. That means the pH on the pH scale, this particular oceanic water will fall from 5.8 to below. Okay, and then in such a condition, these diatoms will not be able to survive into this particular lake or the ocean. Okay, so the acidification of water occurs, the diatoms will really get disappear from the scene. So in such a condition, you should understand that if the diatoms were present earlier there and later they were absent, this literally means there is a acidification of that particular oceanic water or the lake water. Okay, so it can be act as an indicator of the acidification of water, whether it is present in the lakes or reservoirs or in the oceans. Okay, so the third example we have understood regarding the algal pollution, algal as a pollution indicator, is the diatoms. Okay, so the first example was the phytoplankton, second was the decimates, and the third is the diatoms. Okay, so you can decorate your answer in the UPSC mains if the UPSC generally asks you how the algae can be used again as a pollution indicator species. All right.